Savitri can be approached through various means. What we are attempting here to approach it by selecting the Sestets in Savitri and linking up the thematic development as it proceeds from section to section. The opening canto of Savitri, the symbol dawn, has two main sections. And in the very first section, there are 7 sestets. While we shall read them, we'll also try to trace the background which is presented in the entire section. The first sestet which occurs in Savitri is the following. A power of fallen boundless self awake between the first and the last nothingness, recalling the tenebrous room from which it came, turned from the insoluble mysteries of birth and the tardy process of mortality, and longed to reach its end in vacant naught. Immediately following it, we have athwart the vain enormous trance of space, is formless stupor without mind or life, a shadow spinning through a soulless void, thrown back once more into unthinking dreams, earth-wheeled abandoned in the hollow gulls, forgetful of her spirit and her fate. It was as though, even in this notch profound, even in this ultimate dissolution's core, there lurked an unremembering entity, survivor of a slain and buried past, condemned to resume the effort and the pang, reviving in another frustrated world. This is the picture at the beginning of this creation. The picture also providing us some details about how the earlier attempts were made, how they failed, how they got buried in the past, how another frustrated world appeared, and yet another attempt had to be made. It is the darkness before the gods awake, the utter darkness before the gods awake. It is the primordial darkness, and there are no powers of light present around. No powers of light are present in this darkness. It is a darkness that is darker than the darkness of the foreboding mind, darker than the darkness of the foreboding mind, the mind of night. Mind of night. Yes, night has a mind. It is the mind, this mind of night. It is the mind that gives forms to things, things arising out of the void. It gives fixity to them, to these forms. Had it not been there, this mind of night, then these forms would have simply got dissolved into the void. They would have disappeared. Stability in it in this void is due to the mind of night. Mind of night gives the stability to the forms that have come out of the void. That is the early significant part played by this mind of night. That is the birth in the indeterminate inconscience. In the indeterminate inconscience, the forms have appeared, kind of determinates have appeared. These determinates have now got stabilized because of the mind of night. Mind of night is the physical mind, the mind of the physical, the mind of matter, and it holds in it the darkness of the inconscience. It receives it, it receives the darkness of the inconscience. It shapes its ideas and objects. It shapes them in the density of darkness. They opposing the entry of light into this creation. That mind of night was at one time a necessity, because it is that which gave fixity to forms. It was a necessity to give stability to things in the inconscient void. But that very stability is now proving to be a formidable obstacle. That necessity has become a problem. That necessity has become an impediment in the path of the divine possibilities entering into this creation. This night, with her mind measuring out the creations in the void, is now lying like a thoughtless, unthinking woman across the path of new manifestation, the path of the divine event. She is lying stretched in the unlit temple of eternity. She, the goddess of darkness. Even so, she is musing about the thick, opaque symbol. Why this creation? Why the darkness? She is concerned about it. She is thinking whether something can happen, something can come out of it. This unlit temple is a temple of eternity. It is a temple of eternity itself. Eternity, having built it, this temple of night, having built it with a sense of purpose. In the unseeing thoughts of the goddess is present only the nothing, the strange void that holds all that holds everything of the inconscient, the strange void that holds all, that holds the unbodied infinite. This is the fathomless zero, unbodied infinite. This is the fathomless zero. And this goddess of darkness, she is concerned about it. Fathomless, therefore she is musing. She is contemplating if something can come out of it. At this stage, the fathomless zero was the only world that existed, nothing else except the fathomless zero. But that was a zero which was fully charged. It was fully charged, meaningfully charged. It was a pregnant zero. It held in it possibilities. It held in it a world. It held in it the possibility of a divine manifestation. It was a pregnant zero. It held in it possibilities. It held in it a world. There is always the twofold aspect of the Supreme. The Supreme turns towards manifestation. Supreme turns towards manifestation. The Absolute, the non-manifest, turned towards manifestation. There are always two poises of him. One is poised in the act of creation, the aspect of existence or being, of will to be. The other aspect is the aspect of the consciousness force, of the divine dynamism, the will to become. The will to be is one aspect, the will to become is another aspect of the Supreme who is poised towards manifestation. These two inseparable aspects of being and consciousness force show up everywhere in the entire hierarchy of the creation that would come. Everywhere. They are present everywhere. They are present as presence and power. Shiva and Shakti. Ishvara and Ishwari. Satyavan and Savitri. Self and nature. Inconscient being and somnambulist force. Sat and Chit are everywhere. They are everywhere throughout. They are everywhere in the delight of things. Satchit, in the delight of things. Ananda. It is in the process of creation, out of the void, that the boundless being plunges into it. In the process of creation, out of the void, that the boundless being plunges into it. The boundless being plunges into the void. This presence of the boundless being into the void, we might say, he is the first avatar of the Supreme. He is the first avatar of the Supreme. And that first avatar has a name. He is called Satyavan. This boundless being plunging into the utter void, the first avatar of the Supreme, he is Satyavan. This being, the fallen being, provides the necessary support, the necessary base, the necessary foundation for things to happen. Necessary things happen because along with that fallen being also comes this power, the divine Shakti. She also comes along with him. She comes to begin with as the unconscious force. Unconscious force. She comes, she does the work, but nothing seems to happen. She comes, but nothing seems to happen. She feels tired, this unconscious force, because there is no result. She feels tired. She is not happy. She is not happy with the tardy process, the process of the inconscient time. of the unmoving mortality. She would rather give up and go back. She is tired, she feels frustrated, she would abandon her effort and prefer to go back. She would prefer to go back to the vacant knot from which she had come. She would prefer to be with a fallen being. She would go back and stay there in the state of beginning. She would retire. All work would then stop. Stop without achieving what was intended. The earth, which is the center of growth, which is the center of evolution, a significant center of progress, of the great becoming, would then feel abandoned, helpless, abandoned. She would simply be a shadow spinning to the soulless void. She, the earth, forgetting the purpose for which she is here, the purpose of carrying out the evolution. Earth, the significant center for evolution. She, the earth, forgetting the purpose for which she is here, forgetting her spirit, forgetting her fate. It could mean dissolution. It could lead to pralaya. But then it cannot be the fate of things. It cannot be the purpose of the Supreme in creating this void and out of this void bringing out a creation. It cannot be in vain. It cannot be futile. That cannot be the intention behind this meaningful, purposeful engagement. Something inscrutable then stirs up in the depths of darkness because it cannot be fruitful. There is something very pressing, and in that inscrutable darkness, there is a moment, there is a stir. There is the unremembering entity in it. It is asleep in it, that entity. It is asleep in it meaningfully. It tries to revive itself. It makes another beginning. It tries to make a beginning. It makes a beginning in positive expectation of fulfillment with hope. The consciousness that had not taken yet any form longs for light. There is the intuition of things to come, of things that could be. There is a vague smile encouraging the possibility.